Welcome back to my channel. This is Transformational Motherhood. I'm Christine, and today I just wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about what I mean by transformational. Generally, when you think of motherhood, you probably would infer that I mean motherhood is transformational. Yeah, I do mean that. But really, I want to talk about how you should have a transformation prior to becoming a mother, because you have to give up yourself to be a mother at times, but you also have to give up. I would argue you should have to give up who you were prior to conceiving, prior to choosing to become a mother, and you really have to decide. And I use decide. I use decide because I believe decide means, to kill off all other options. And you have to kill off all other options. You're a mother now. You're choosing to become a mother, and your mindset shifts. You have this whole other life form that you have to take care of and make sure is taken care of every day until they're 18. But really, you have a much more hands-on experience with your child until they're probably about a teenager, because really they can't function on their own without you, or at least without your guidance and your heavy involvement. I don't mean like a helicopter parent type of way. I mean, honestly, probably more like a boomer type of way, of like how the boomer generation just like allowed you to live your life and learn, but also be involved. Help them. Help your child learn. I'm in a unique position because I'm 30, and my mother was 42 when she had me, and my father was 33. I think I have those ages right. Don't fact check me. I mean, you can fact check me. It doesn't really matter. But my mom was 43. My mom was 43. My dad was turning 33. They had an 11-year age gap. I also have an 11-year age gap with my husband, who is 40, and I'm 30, but he'll be 41 in February, whereas I won't be 31 until October. So, I got to grow up with boomers as my parents, but like two different extremes. My dad was more so, he was closer to Gen X, whereas my mom was closer to the World War II generation. I guess that's the silent generation, between, I'm pretty sure it was the silent generation. So it was like a different set of parental guidelines, but yes. So when I speak about transformation, and when I speak about why I believe it's transformational motherhood, I think that we should have gone through transformations prior, because you have to kill off the other options to become a mother and become a parent. This same holds true for fathers as well. And to me, I think it is our obligation to realize what choices we've made, what we've been given through our lives, and what we want to instill in our children, right? And what we want to decide to be moving forward every day of our lives. And I don't think this stops. I think there is an opportunity to always transform, because I do not want to be the same person I was last year. I don't want to be the same person I was 2 weeks ago. I want to keep growing. I want to keep evolving. And I want to instill that with my children. And the definition of transformation, according to Oxford, is a thorough or dramatic change in form or appearance. So, yeah, you can I guess a lot of people think of transformation in the form of a physical sense, where you are transforming from maybe a small, skinny person to a muscular person. Where for me, that was kind of me. Like I'm not really all muscular yet, but I definitely transformed in pregnancy to someone who was much bigger, and my body grew in ways that I never thought it would. Because I always grew up being that tiny, skinny girl who was called anorexic, even though I ate like a crazy person. I just couldn't gain weight. And during pregnancy, I gained 50 pounds. I went from 130 to 180. I'm back down to 140, and I think this is my ideal weight, honestly, because I'm 5'6", and that seems like a healthy weight. Just need to make it muscle. But that can be a transformation you have during pregnancy. It could be just the transformation of, oh, holy crap, I'm growing a life inside of me. Woo, that's transformative in itself. You're transforming, your organs are all transformed because now you're, like, once you give birth, you're always postpartum. Like, obviously the bigger effects happen, like, in the last, like, 18 months after pregnancy, but you're always postpartum because your body has now grown a life, and your body now remembers that life forever. I was reading, like, last week, I think, there's an article about how essentially your child, because was living on your blood system and living in you, obviously, getting oxygen from you, getting nutrients from you, everything from you, all triggered by the child, by the way. Just your body reacts to the child's triggering, which is just, like, the coolest thing in the world to me. But because your child was, growing in you for 9 months, or however long you had your pregnancy for, because some people have it longer, some people have it shorter. You get that like DNA connection forever. Like, you always will have some remnants of your child within you until you die. How cool is that? That means that my daughter, who is now 5 months, when I get pregnant again, which I pray is, in the next year or so, that stuff will pass on to her brother or sister, and I'll get their stuff going through me. Like, how cool is that? That's life. That's transformative. But anyway, going on a little tangent. Probably gonna do that a lot here because that's who I am and I ramble. However, I wanted to talk about transformation in the sense of mentally, and this will be an ongoing topic because I love it. I love talking about how you can keep growing yourself and growing your mind and expanding and just becoming a different person every choice you make. And I feel like I got that through a program called Landmark. I am a Landmark graduate. I've done their curriculum for living, and I encourage everyone to do that. I did it out of their DC center. I'll put a link in the description. But it's kind of an expensive journey, and honestly, to me, at the time I was poor. Like, I had just moved to DC beginning of that year with $50 in my pocket. DC is not a cheap place to live with $50 in your pocket. It was a hard time, but I found the money at the end of the year to attend this course, and I did that throughout pretty much all 2018 until like August when I got married. I got so much out of that program, and I'll go into that later because I actually want to talk about something else that is a little bit cheaper and more affordable, but you have to be very diligent, and you have to really give up whatever you think you know, because as Landmark puts it, basically, imagine I have a chocolate. So, I'm talking about what you know. Imagine this is all knowledge. All knowledge is contained within this circle. Yeah, it's a crappy circle. I'm not here to make it perfect. This piece of the pie is what you know. What you know. Like, I know that the grass is green. Sometimes it's blue, actually, because there's bluegrass. But generally it's green. I know the sky's blue. Clouds are white. Things like that. I also know that my profession is in development. I do fundraising for a living. And I know that I have not studied being a doctor. But I do know that there are many people in my life who can extend that knowledge. And I can use them as resources. So I know these things, and then these things are the things that I know that I don't know. I know that I can't write prescription glasses. I know things about lenses of glasses because I was an apprentice optician, but I know I can't write. I can't write prescription. I know that I do not know quantum physics. How well you can read that, but you know, you don't know. This is all stuff that you have no idea you don't know it. There's so much in the world. I guess just for example, that article about my daughter and how much we've exchanged things and how it lasts in your body until you're dead. I didn't know that until last week, until I read that article. Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about, and hopefully I'm making it clearer as I'm going along, but maybe you don't know stuff that I'm talking about. And you didn't know that until it became over here. So, this is a big landmark thing, but totally encourage you to attend a session. They have like 2-hour sessions, 3-hour sessions, normally monthly. It's all different because of COVID. But if you're interested, leave a comment. I'm happy to help. It's really helpful. I'm not doing it much justice right now, but I will. At a later date, I promise. So, there's all these things you don't know, but all of us like to act. I shouldn't say all of us. A lot of us like to act like we know it all. Like there is nothing in this world that we can't have an answer to. Nope. Sorry. Even the smartest people in the world, even Einstein and who's the smartest guy in the world right now? Dickens or something like that. I can't remember. But all these people who have huge IQs, there's still things they don't know. Yeah, like you just can't store it all. I know that I don't know I don't know how to make Indian food that well. I know that. But maybe there's something I can improve on, because when I know that I don't know it, I can improve on it. And right now, you may know that you don't know much about transformational work. There you go. You can improve on it now that you know about it. So, all this to say, before you become a mother, it doesn't matter where you are in your life, honestly. I think this is something you should do. You should check out the Arbinger Institute's books called The Outward Mindset and Leadership and Self-Deception. I realize all the things that I'm writing are mirror images, so you're probably not seeing it straight. That's fine. I'll also link these in the description. But essentially, these are oriented towards businesses. However, they have helped me a great deal personally as well. The Outward Mindset is seeing beyond yourselves, is what it says at the bottom. Essentially, it's realizing that a lot of the problems that we have in our lives are things we've created. We've created ourselves. Like assuming things about other people, assuming that they care at all about what material goods I have, about what the money I make, about the house I live in. All these things we put a lot of stress on it. Or maybe it's a project at work. Maybe we're perfectionists and you're super concerned about that. Maybe it's you're super concerned because your kid can't afford to provide your kid with all the things that Joe Smo down the street does. Guess what? It doesn't matter. Take care of your four walls first. Take care of your home, your stuff before you go worrying about what they think. Because they're generally dealing with similar stuff and they might not know it, or they might know it and they just don't want to admit it either. So, it could be much harder than this too. You know, like when I did Landmark, I had a woman get up on stage and talk about how her father had molested her entire life. Thankfully, I've never dealt with that. I pray none of you have ever dealt with that. But it took her so much to get through the weekend because it forced her to deal with the fact that her father is also human and he made a mistake. He made a mistake many times. And he apparently had been now trying to be a better father, or like at least reconcile the relationship and apologize. But she had been traumatized, as anyone would be. But at the end of the program, I'm like 99% sure she had talked to her father by the end of that weekend of Landmark. And by the next section of the curriculum of living, she had had a relationship with her dad for the first time in her life. That's something she created because out of this crazy possibility that maybe he was also a human and made a huge mistake. That's the reason you can see people who have murdered families, like, you know, someone murdered someone, and you'll see the family of that victim say, I'm sorry for you, and I pray that you find peace with what you've done, because I have. That's the power of transformation. At the time when I took Landmark, I was not Christian. But you can do this without being Christian. You can do this without any religion, in my opinion. I would prefer you have a religion because I believe in Christianity. I believe the one true way to get into heaven is through believing in Jesus Christ and following his biblical ways. That's not what I want to talk about today, but that is another form of transformation. That's number one form of transformation, in my opinion. But you can use these tools. A lot of these tools are biblically based. So, this book is Leadership and Self-Deception. Sorry. I'm from New York. I can end up talking faster than I can, like, my brain talks faster than my lips can compute sometimes. So, this book is a story about a worker who has a lot of that baggage that I was kind of talking about and brought it to a new workplace. He had all the skills, but he couldn't get out of his own way to realize that it wasn't just about him succeeding, it was about the organization succeeding. And to me, this is amazing business practice, but the reason it's amazing business practice is because it's an amazing life practice. And why I believe it's important to not only want to win for yourself, but want to bring others up around you as well. Because when I'm winning and you're winning, we are all winning. And that is the big message of both of these books. And I'll leave links in the description if you're interested in learning more about it. I know eventually I will get better at explaining things too. Part of this is a journey for me, just to get better at public speaking and explaining concepts that I have that I believe are very important to who I am as a person, and I want to help others do that as well. And I don't think that my method is the only way, obviously, but I want to give people the tools to help themselves get out of their own way and do amazing for themselves, others, their children, the world. So I'm going to do better, hopefully, about keeping these shorter. And I thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Thank you for your viewership. If you like this content, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I would greatly appreciate it. If you share this with your friends, just let them know, hey, this is my friend Christine, or this is some random chick I just found on YouTube that I like her content. And us small channels, which I literally just started this channel last week, created it like at the beginning of November. We need all the help we can get, and I just really appreciate you being here. I love you guys, even if I don't know you. I still love you, and I will see you next Wednesday at 5.